OnlyOneOf is not queerbaiting, and this video is specifically for those people who actually believe that BS. I originally had a 14-minute script, but I had to narrow this down so it can get through your thick skull. I hope you learned something by the end of this. Firstly, the official definition of queerbaiting is the incorporation of apparently gay characters or same-sex relationships into a film, television show, as a means of appealing to gay and bisexual audiences, while maintaining ambiguity about the character's sexuality. Simpler terms, hinting to queer storylines and romantic relationships in fictional media, but not delivering on it to exploit and profit from actual LGBTQ+ viewers. Something I want to point out is that queerbaiting is a term created and used for characters, not real people. The term isn't accurate enough if you want to say an actual person is queerbaiting. Secondly, saying someone is queerbaiting is problematic because by saying a real person is queerbaiting is immediately assuming someone is straight. Search up Kit Connor's forced outing if you want to understand further, and that the person must be openly queer if they want to participate in queer media, despite the fact that, even in the most accepting countries, not being closeted instantly puts that person in danger of being a victim of a homophobic attack. Western examples of actual queerbaiting includes Teen Wolf, Sherlock, Pitch Perfect, and like how many Marvel movies? Sure, some of these shows and movies do have maybe a singular queer character or one same-sex relationship, but how many play a significant role, push the story forward, and aren't stereotyped? Not very many. If this is what is going on in the US, imagine how much good representation queer South Korean people are getting. That is why OnlyOneOf is important, not just to international fans, but also to domestic lions. They are providing them the opportunity to feel seen, loved and heard with all the strides they have taken ever since their debut. I say all this, but I think I need to properly lay out the reasons why OnlyOneOf are not queerbaiting. 1. Real people cannot queerbait, because that term can't be used outside of fiction. 2. In their music videos, they depict romantic same-sex relationships and clearly show themes that are part of the queer experience like religious guilt/trauma, homophobic bullying, internalized homophobia, experimentation and queer teen experiences. Not only do they do this visually, but also lyrically. Tear of God is about accepting your queerness while speaking to God, despite everything you have been brought up to believe about yourself and others. Begin by a Jun is about being comfortable with yourself and waiting for the person you love to be comfortable with their self. Savannah, one of the 2 songs they debuted with, is about expressing your sexuality openly before realizing the world does not accept who you are. To me, as a queer person, I have experienced so many topics they sing about. 3. They genuinely support the LGBTQ community by reading comments from queer fans, holding up so many pride flags, and creating the Underground Idol series specifically for queer people to find familiarity. Not only do they support queer people, but OnlyOneOf supports everyone who needs it. Every minority. Anyone who is a victim of an oppressive system, and they have made that abundantly clear. South Korea has a conservative government. What do conservative people hate? The LGBTQ+ community. From what my research tells me, South Korea actively has no policies in place to protect queer people. This means queerphobic physical attacks would not be labeled as hate crimes. People can lose their jobs and maybe even housing because of their identity, and it be perfectly legal, and pride parades are not protected by police. Instead, the police protect the homophobic and transphobic protesters who are spewing hatred and slurs to these people. It is not the safest option to be out in South Korea. Yet, non-lions love to say, because no member is out of the closet, they shouldn't be depicting queer relationships and themes. OnlyOneOf doesn't have to prove shit to you. Being openly queer is already dangerous, but being openly queer in a country that does not care about you is potentially deadly. If you want to find out real life, recent cases of how being openly queer in South Korea is scary and unfair for queer individuals, look up Holland City one assault case and research the suicide of trans South Korean soldier called Byun Hui Soo. Rest in power to her. None of the OnlyOneOf members are openly queer, but even still doing what they are doing is extremely risky. Sexuality and gender identity are taboo topics in Korea, but OnlyOneOf, as well as their team, still go out of their way to provide comfort and show empathy towards us. It's unnerving to think about, but the members are also in harm's way. It is most likely that someone wants to harm them because of their support and their unapologetic showing of queerness throughout their work. Even though OnlyOneOf were not with me when I came out to my friends, then to my parents as pansexual, and at that time gender fluid, and got a negative reaction from my dad, they have really made me come full circle. It's like they knew exactly how I was feeling in so many situations, and they made me feel understood. They include so many queer aspects in their art, providing us fans with K-pop idols who stand alongside and help us on our way to acceptance. If queer people find safety in OnlyOneOf's work, then why do you feel like you have such a high pedestal that you can discredit them and try to control what LGBTQ+ people find comfort in? Actually listen to Queer Lions when we tell you that OnlyOneOf have shown more understanding to us than anyone else has shown us in our entire life. That is something worth celebrating, regardless of their own sexualities. In conclusion, queerbaiting is not an accurate term for people who are ill. If you want to bully people for allegedly doing that, then create and coin a different term. OnlyOneOf uses multiple aspects of the queer experience in their music videos, as well as lyrics. They depict romantic same-sex relationships, literally the opposite of queerbaiting. They have shown genuine support to the LGBTQ+ community. Being LGBTQ is dangerous in South Korea, yet OnlyOneOf are still doing all of this for their fans. And if you discredit them, you are also discrediting millions of people's feelings about OnlyOneOf and themselves. People have always wanted good representation in K-pop, and now that it's here, you are questioning OnlyOneOf's intentions. K-pop fans are some of the most hypocritical people I have seen. Make up your mind to stick with it for at least a minute. Anyways, go listen to Instinct Part 1 and 2 because they are the best albums to ever hit this earth.